Welcome Chemistry 12.10, pretty quick one today. There are only 2 new words in this and there's nothing mathy off of these words. Tomorrow we will have a little bit of mathy stuff for the end of the chapter, but it's a nice break today. So the words today were sublimation and deposition. So the idea here is that sublimation is when something skips the liquid state and is able to go straight from being a solid to being a vapor or a gas. So they gave some examples of this in the reading, which would be like, let's see, sometimes they had like wet clothes drying at sub-zero temperature was something I believe that they talked about in this. Deposition is the opposite. Deposition is if you have a gas and it turns directly into a solid without being a vapor. So they talked about that being something that happens up in the clouds when ice and snow forms. So you're up in the clouds, it's just gas up there, and all of a sudden snow or ice, which is a solid, forms, and here it comes. Sublimation is an endothermic process, meaning heat absorbed, which if we think through should make sense to us, because if we're going from a solid, which doesn't have a lot of energy, to a gas, which has more energy, because gases are more in motion, that means that substance had to absorb some energy to go from lower to higher energy count. So that's endothermic when heat's absorbed. Deposition is exothermic for the same reason, just in reverse. Gases have high energy. For them to become solids, which have low energy, that energy has to be given off somehow for that to make sense. So 1210, that's what that was about. Skip the gas or skip the liquid and just go straight from solid to gas or from gas to solid. You see dry ice do that sometimes. Just it's a solid and it becomes that smoky gas. That would be another example of something that could do that. Next time up, we finish the chapter by reading 12:11, which is not a heavy read. 1 and 2 will be 2 new points from reading 12:11. And then we'll do the same thing with the box at the end of the chapter that we did last chapter, which is read the box. When you're done reading the box, see if you can write down 2 things. And if you can, great, reading comprehension still works. If you can't do that, then reread it, and then you should be able to write down 2 things. But as you read it, you should be able to maintain 2 things about what you're reading. Then, let's see what else is on here. Compared to the 12:10 quiz, when we move up to 12:11, everything from 3 down is just staying the same. The only difference is when you get to the bottom, I'll ask 1 and 2 backward with an add-on point. So I'll say, what is sublimation? And you'd say the direct conversion of a solid to a vapor. And I'll ask whether that's endo or exothermic, and you'd say endothermic there. And then I'll do the same for deposition. What is deposition? You'd say a direct conversion of a vapor to a solid, and I'll ask endo or exo again, and you'd say exothermic on that. There is no homework off of this, just read the next section and see you next time.